We're gonna do a song that you never heard before. The volume.
Hear the drummer get wicked. Here we go again.
Whew. Ace Kennedy, my brother from another mother.
What up, bro?
Doc, I have had a very interesting day, to say the least.
What's going on?
Okay, so I won't get into this all the way because I don't have all of the details, right? But I wanted to start because we start every it's Friday show. Matter of fact, wait a minute. Let's get the music going first. We're gonna get into that. Okay.
The Slide Brothers Podcast, the greatest podcast of all time. The Slide Brothers Podcast, the greatest podcast of all time.
Can you dig it, sucker?
The Slide Brothers Podcast, the greatest podcast of all time.
Ace Kennedy.
What's up?
I gotta figure out something, man. I got a notification here that last week we got dinged by YouTube as for content. I don't know what we had going on last on Tuesday, I believe. It was Tuesday. Yeah, we got a note that we got pinged somewhere about there for some content. So
It's probably because we put the fight up.
no, I didn't think about that. Okay. Listen, bro. For starters, man, you ain't gonna just pull up on me with the merchandise shirt on over here, though, bro.
I don't know what you're talking about. I mean,
you gonna pull up on me with the Ace merch.
I mean, I'm just saying, bro. I mean, it's the Friday show. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my gosh. Ace Kennedy, my brother from another mother.
Yeah.
So let me tell you, I'm gonna jump right on into it because we got a full deck today.
All right.
I feel some kind of way, and I want to limit. I gotta limit.
I'm even surprised you're gonna bring this up. I am going
to bring this on up, bro.
Talk about it right here, right now.
Ace Kennedy.
What's up?
I'm gonna go ahead and say, let me get my tools ready because I'm gonna need all my tools here. Ace Kennedy, I took off today. It's your boy birthday weekend, by the way.
Yep.
Right? Your boy birthday weekend. Birthday is on Sunday. So very, very, very excited. So I'm sitting here trying to figure out what are some of the birthday shenanigans that the boy can go ahead and get into. So I'm doing a couple of little things, you know what I'm talking about? Doing a couple of things. Bruh, I'm looking on Facebook this morning. And bro, I'm thinking like, okay, I'm scrolling through. And I see somebody then posted this Rocky ring, right? I'm looking. And my mama done got engaged out here in these streets, though, bro.
What's going on?
Let me start. I gotta get my tools, man, because I gotta tell you that I'm gonna be completely honest. Now, mind you, Ace Kennedy, Me and my family. Hold on. Because I got to give my mama these horns on here real quick. Now, I ain't going to give her the ether, bro. I'm not going to give her the ether. Real quick.
Try Jesus.
Listen here. All right, there we go. Ace Kennedy. My mama done got engaged, bro, and I don't know how I feel about it. I'm happy for her. It is the best thing I've seen this week, so I want to start with that. I'm going to start with that. I'm starting with that. Let me give it to her. Ace Kennedy.
What's up, man?
I'm happy for my mom, right? Now, my mom has been in relate. I don't want to put my mama's business out here.
Right.
She's Sister Gloria to some, but my mom has been single, and and I don't want to feel like I'm just keeping my mama to myself, right? You know what I'm saying? But I am happy though for my mom. That's why I wanted to say that, the best thing I've seen this week was my mom. Now, my mom, we've had a conversation similar to this about a year ago or so. I guess she had been fairly serious, and I had told her, and I had a conversation with my mom, and she knew how it would go, because I'm very protective of my mom. I'm very protective of my sister. Oh my gosh, my sister. Listen, Ace Kennedy.
Yeah.
Bear with me here. I'm trying to get it together. Here. But I've had this conversation with my mom because my mom knows I'm very protective of my mom and everything like that, though, bro. And so I'm very protective of my sister. And so it's one of those things where I'm genuinely happy because, it's like, it's my mom. And it's the same way if my dad, right? My mom and my dad haven't been together. They've been divorced for, I don't have any memory of them being together, right? So I'd be happy for my dad in very much the same way. But me and my mom are for a long time have been tighter than my mom and than me and my dad, right? Me and my dad, we super cool. But I find out that I didn't have a conversation with my mom. Now, I guess maybe my mom just was caught up in the moment, you know what I'm saying, and posted it. But I found this out when everybody else did, so I'm getting tagged into this post like, yo, what's happening?
Yeah.
So I have not had the conversation with my mom yet. So I know that she occasionally watches.
Yeah.
But listen, man, best thing I've seen, Miss Gloria V. Wilson is engaged though, bro. So one time for my mama real quick. I want to leave it at that though. But listen, man, but surprised me. Very, very surprised. Very surprised though. So, but listen, happy for my mom. And so we start everything off. The best thing I have seen this week. That is it though. What you got that tops that?
I don't have nothing to top that, man. Congrats on the new father-in-law and stepfather, whatever I don't know. Anyway, the best thing that I've seen this week, brother, is that new Mando series, bruh. And of course, like I said, I know most of you guys are just getting off work, and y'all, I'm not gonna spoil it, but let me tell you, for anybody that loves the nostalgia of Star Wars, yo, you gotta go ahead and watch this new Mando series because
I did not watch the Mando today. I'm planning on watching
the new Mando is about that business, bro.
I am planning to watch the Mando that I did not watch it today.
Yo, that Mando is serious.
As soon as I get off this, I'm planning.
I know I'm gonna get phone calls on this one because, like I said, if you like, and here's the thing for anybody that watches Mandalorian, do not watch the. They always show a recap before the episode. Skip the recap, please.
Okay, let me ask you this. So, can we talk about last week because
Yes,
last
we
week
can't
you didn't
talk
let me
about
go.
last- yeah.
Okay, there we
Hold
go.
on,
Okay.
But I'm just saying, for anybody that watches Mandalorian and you have not seen it for this week, please, please, please do not watch the how they show flashbacks of like just hit the skip button. Just hit the skip. You can go back and watch it after the episode, but trust me when I tell you, you don't want to spoil anything for this episode, and they do kind of get a hinting of some things to come. So I'm just telling you, skip the recap. Just skip the recap. You can go back and watch the recap later. But let's talk about last episode.
Listen, so the one thing I can say about this Mando is that I like that I'm not gonna say every episode is better than the previous, but they've been building and I like
These last couple of episodes have been
right. I mean from jump, right? Every Mando episode has never been it probably does. I've never seen a bad episode of Mando, but I've never seen one where I was like, last week was better. It's just maybe different, but I liked it though, man. So listen, my favorite part is that my girl Rosario Dawson, who I've told you before, love me some Rosario Dawson. Absolutely love me some Rosario Dawson. I told you that when you told me that she would that Ahsoka was going to be on Mando. That I said the only other person that I could possibly see playing Ahsoka based off of Rosario Dawson and her very unique chiseled, cheekbones and facial structure, bro, would probably be Zoe Saldana. And I thought that this was good. My favorite part of Mando from last week was when I saw when she was like out in the wooded area and she's fighting the people getting over to the people's lair. Yeah. And I thought that it was fire when you saw the details of her face. Yeah. When her sabers lit up. I thought it was fire. I was like, yo, because it reminded me of very much. I thought of Guardians of the Galaxy, how well I can look at Zoe and still, it doesn't look like makeup. Like it almost looks like that's her skin. So I love that. And like I said, it looked exactly like the cartoon though, bro. Yeah. That's what I loved about it. Now, everything else, right, is icing on the cake, right? They got that part so right that everything else was icing on the cake.
What about Thandie Newton?
Thandie. Thandie. That's her name.
I could have sworn it was Thandie, bro.
Nah, bro.
Well, you know who I'm talking about. What you think about her?
Where?
You were saying the only person you could see play.
Oh, yeah. I can't see her. I can see her because, I can see her because I love her in Westworld, right? Yes. So I can see her also doing it. Yeah.
As a Star Wars fan, now Star Wars fans were a little bit hurt until they actually saw her as Ahsoka, but they wanted Ashley Eckstein to play Ahsoka.
I don't know who Ashley Eckstein is.
She's the one who is the voice of Ahsoka in the cartoons.
What does she look like in whole real life?
I'll tag you in a picture of her. She's fine. She would have had makeup on, so she would have been okay. The thing is that she voices the character all the way from when she was a little girl until the adult Ahsoka. So it would have been dope for her to get to play. Just like when you watched episode 3 when they had the Mandalorians in there and Bo-Katan took off her helmet. So the girl who was playing Bo-Katan, she actually voiced the character on the show too. Katie Sackhoff. Yeah. So yeah.
I don't know. But listen, like I said, I'm gonna watch Mando as soon as we hop off here, though, man. But like I said, I can only imagine. Like, so let me tell you where, and this is I haven't seen it, so I'm not gonna do spoilers and nothing like that. But let me tell you where I think it could go. Okay. Right. What I think was interesting, one of the interesting revelations to me was that, like, one of the big things that I've always seen with the Jedi was that their lightsabers cut through everything. And I thought that it was interesting that it didn't cut through the spear. Right. So it didn't cut through the spear and everything like that. So what I was thinking was that, well, if it doesn't cut through the spear and he was given the spear, right, that he's about to fight. He's eventually going to go against my boy, big brother Almighty.
Moff Gideon.
Right? So now he has a weapon that he can fight him in a straight up on. So I thought that's fire. So that's what that was the big aha moment that I got out of the episode, though, bro.
What did you think about learning the little homie's name?
So he's still Baby Yoda to me, right?
Yeah, I mean, we can have a nickname, but we actually found out his name.
But it's funny though, man, because I saw a commercial. I saw a commercial just this morning, right? And they called him the child, and I don't like the child, bro. Baby Yoda's better, and it just I
guess his computer froze up. He must be having that great Atlanta Wi-Fi connection going on. But yeah, so we learned the big homie's name. His name is Grogu. And so the thing is, with this particular episode, we got so much information about where he came from. And I thought that was dope. The fact that he was around when all the Jedi kids got killed. So it was interesting to find out that for some reason he was hidden. And so the fact that they tied all of that stuff together, that's something that a bunch of Star Wars fans have been wanting for quite a long time, is to have stuff go together. But for anybody that has not seen The Mandalorian, you definitely want to jump on and get that Disney Plus, because the show is fire. And like I said, today's episode,
hey, some boys heard me talking bad about that.
I guess so.
Bro.
I was trying to see if it was me or if it was you, but I was like, nah, I'm still moving. So yeah, I was like, yeah,
they're talking down, bro. But man, it's weird, man. I don't know what's been going on, man.
Well, you breaking up
maybe
bad,
I've been taking these All right, now I've been taking these L's with broadcast here, bro, because man, this is like all week long. My Wi-Fi's been going in and out, in and out, in and out.
Yeah. Nah, but yeah. That Mando was fire, bro.
Yeah. I gotta check it out though, man. I'm super duper excited though about catching it, man. He's still Baby Yoda to me though, man. I don't like, but I saw they called him the child. I was like, that's whack.
I mean, they're going to do that because some people still haven't seen it yet, and that's what he was called, the child. Only the people have ever called him Baby Yoda, because we don't know anything about the species outside of Yoda and Yaddle. So
now,
yeah,
listen,
man.
the one thing I think that is very interesting, one thing I found to be very interesting that I learned from, oddly enough, watching the Marauders podcast. I didn't know that Grogu was ever even mentioned anywhere. I thought he was like a brand new character. Your guy, the ginger, was like, nah, he's mentioned, pretty, not heavily, but he got some history on here with the Star Wars generation, though, man.
No, he was never mentioned. We got his history last episode.
That's all.
That's it.
Like, I thought that he was like part of the Jedi Temple. That's
what I'm saying. We learned that last episode. He's never been brought up in Star Wars before. We learned that during that time. Yeah, that's what I was explaining when your Wi-Fi was out, was that we learned that he basically was around when Anakin came through and was slicing up all the kids and stuff like that. He was there, but he was hidden. And so that's what they still haven't given more detail about that. But yeah, man, it's fire. So what's up on these NBA trades, bro?
Hey, so listen, man, I think that it's been kind of interesting, bro. Listen, aside from the shit, I don't know why. I'm losing. I'm completely. I got my here, but even though I have my phone on the charger, I'm trying to find something.
Yeah. You definitely having some connection issues, Broham. But yo, for those of y'all that don't know, my boy Russell Westbrook was traded to the Washington Wizards. And so you know what I'm saying? Houston finally decided to swap. I think that ultimately Washington won the trade only because of the fact that I think Washington won the trade because you got rid of John Wall with his huge contract. He had a torn Achilles, he had a torn ACL. So you don't know what he necessarily looks like, if he even looks like the 2018 John Wall or what. And then the Rockets kind of won because of the fact that they had to give up a first round pick, or Washington had to give up a first round pick in order for the deal to go through. So you got rid of somebody who wanted out. So the question is, with this trade, you know what I'm saying, does John Wall help James Harden stay in Houston? Because you have John Wall, you have DeMarcus Cousins, and you have now James Harden in Houston. So is that enough to keep James there? I don't know, but it does make the East more interesting. And the other thing is, my boy Russell Westbrook done changed his number to number 4. So that's another thing that's going to be real weird. And apparently that was his high school number. So that's why he chose number 4. And then when he got to Oklahoma City, obviously, and UCLA, he wasn't those particular numbers were the number 4 was taken. So yeah, it's quite interesting with everything on the move. And of course, the Lakers, you see AD and LeBron have both re-signed. So it's a lot of stuff going on with the doggone NBA right now. Yeah, he's still trying to figure his stuff out. But anyway, the season starts on the 22nd. I'm super excited about this NBA season. I'm ready for it to get back. I know a couple of people had COVID, but when you look at the landscape of how many people in the league there are and how many people ended up with COVID, it was a very, very small percent. And they said they're going to test each player every single day. So yeah, it's gonna be dope. I know that, you know, just like with the football games, if they feel like they need to basically postpone games in order for folks to have enough players to play, I'm sure they'll do that. Adam Silver seems to be one of the best commissioners that has handled the COVID situation, and obviously they will do what they need to do until they can get inside the bubble for the playoffs and things of that nature. So it's definitely going to be a very, very interesting season, and I for one am excited to see how this season goes. Do you have anything?
So let me ask you this then.
Yeah.
Let me ask you that. So who won? Okay, I think that Washington made Russ numbers and John Wall's numbers are very similar, right? And when you talk about the terms of statistics, right? Maybe leadership style may be a little different or whatnot, though, right? But with all that considered, who do you won this trade? Who comes out the winner?
Washington, absolutely. Because for 2 years you haven't had John Wall. You already know Russell Westbrook is ready to go. So the thing is that if you're trying to have, number one, Russell Westbrook is must see. So that's going to spark something in Washington. He's bringing a whole new chapter by having new merchandise. He's wearing a new number. Like, he's basically showing like, hey, this is a new thing. And Russ has something to prove this year. And you already know when Russ has something to prove, he plays better, in my opinion. So for that, I think that plus he's in the Eastern Conference. So I think that that's definitely going to allow him to shine a little bit more.
So here's what I think. I think it's going to be interesting when he plays against. Here's what I heard. If I said that he wants to go to a team, he can do. Do you think that he would just do him with Bradley Beal? You know what I'm talking about? Like, it's different when you're saying. It's different to me when you're saying, all right, well, yeah, I just want to do me. You know what I'm saying? But it's a whole nother thing to me when it's like, well, how can you, where does winning go?
Charles, he won when he did him. Yeah. So that's like, this is the thing. A lot of you analysts have Russell so jacked up. Russell played better when he was him. The thing is the thing in Houston did not work well because James Harden primarily carries the ball. Russ is not a catch and shoot person. Russ is not and you know how James dribbles it down to the last seconds and then kicks it out. The thing was when Russ was putting up them numbers in Houston, that was when he had the ball in his hands. So he knows that that's a benefit for him to have the ball in his hands. Russ knows how to kick the ball out. He has some shooters out there. He knows how to do that, and he knows how to penetrate. So I think that Russ knows. And here's the thing: he's going to back with Scott Brooks. Scott Brooks knows how to coach Russell Westbrook. So I'm excited for them to get back together. I'm excited for Russell because it is a new chapter. And like I said, this is a year that he has something to prove. So I'm super excited to see him in the East.
Listen, let me ask you this. I got to go ahead and I got to go ahead and ask this. Seeing that I'm already, I admit that I be hating on the boy, James Harden. But what does that say, though, about James Harden? That now you have basically had two all NBA level guard, possibly Hall of Fame, not possibly, but definitely sure Hall of Fame player traded on you. Like, what does that say about you, though? Talking about
okay, if I can understand, if I think I understand what you asked, what does it say about James Harden? The fact that two Hall of Famers have been traded away from him under his watch. What it says is that just what everything was saying about Russell Westbrook is actually James Harden. That's what it says. Russell Westbrook has played with other players before because see, here's the thing. Even according to your logic, right? Paul George didn't want away from Russell Westbrook. Paul George wanted out of the Oklahoma situation because he found out he was on the trade block. So at that time, it's like, oh, that is true. They were both about to be traded.
Kennedy,
Charles,
let me say. Listen, I laugh. Listen, I literally laugh when we talked because you know this is what's funny. I recorded on ESPN today, right? That we talk about it. It just so happened you brought up Paul George, and I recorded this, by the way. But I'm watching ESPN, and they got Brian Windhorst out there, and he's talking about. He said that hey. All eyes this year are on Paul George when it comes to the Clippers. He says specifically, Ace Kennedy, he said, because, hey, here it is. This is the second time that he's asked to be traded away from a franchise. And then here it is after this happens that he's kind of talking low-key throwing shade at the boy Doc Rivers saying, yeah, we didn't make adjustments. Or he didn't. You brought up about him getting him not wanting to leave home. He did ask to be traded 2 times.
He asked to be traded after he found out he was on the trade block. They were about to trade Russell Westbrook and Paul George to the Raptors. They were trying to trade him for Siakam. So again, once that happened, he asked for him to be out. That's why
Ace
Russell.
Kennedy, Ace Kennedy. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. And listen, the thing about it, I've only heard you say that. I've never heard anybody else say that, bro.
Right, because you don't live in Oklahoma City. That's exactly why. If you notice, Oklahoma City stuff doesn't even come out on the blogs until after it's done. Because Sam Presti doesn't put stuff out there like that. Just like how I found out Paul George couldn't lift up his arms before that was released to the public is the same way that I found this information out. My same sources told me that the boy PG is hurt and it's about to be released in about 2 weeks, and then in 2 weeks it was released. Don't tell me.
Hey, Skinner, that man asked to be traded, bro.
After he found out he was going to be traded, which was my point. So I said exactly what you just said. You just don't want to.
And here's the thing. Here's the thing. The way that the story is told, right, is that Kawhi went there and Paul George wasn't even his first choice to try to recruit. He was like the third or fourth person that they asked. They said the story goes that he asked KD, and KD said, "Nah, I'm looking to do something different." Then he asked Jimmy Butler, and Jimmy Butler was like, "Nah, I'm about to go ahead and do this something different on over here in Miami." And then he was just like, "All right, PG, what's happening?" That's so I understand what you're saying.
Point. Yeah, no, you don't, because it has zero to do with my point.
Both things can be true. No, both things can be true. But what I'm saying is that both things can be true, but you seem like one that the other didn't happen. I'm not saying he didn't go to them. Listen.
No, Charles. I said he asked for a trade after he found out he was on the trade block. So I'm saying what you said. You just don't want to include my part. That's what the thing is.
No, what if Paul George had asked to be traded before then, and then Oklahoma City said, "Well, hell, let's go look for somewhere to trade him to"?
Charles, that's not what happened. Again, I know for a fact that that's what happened. So I don't have to argue with you about no what ifs, because I know that's what happened.
I don't believe a lot of stuff when it comes to Paul George, bro.
You don't believe anything that nobody says. You only believe what you want to believe. Paul George himself has said what he wants.
Stuff has to make sense.
It makes sense.
Hey, let me ask you something separately though. So I got a question for you. LeBron and AD had recently extended with the Lakers, right?
Yeah.
So my question for you is this. If LeBron, he extended for the Lakers for 3 years, right? And let's just say LeBron is up to how many titles now? He got 4 titles, right? If let's just say if by the end of LeBron's retirement, if he has 6 rings, does that change? Or 6 or 7, right? 6 or 7 rings. Does that change your perspective when it comes to the GOAT conversation with him and Jordan?
No, he will still be number 2.
So let me tell you my hot take when it comes to this, right? I think, bro, that if LeBron James finishes his career with the Lakers, and in that process he wins 2 more rings, right? He goes, and let's say he's, I think by then, if he plays at the pace that all-time leading scorer, and that would probably make him in the top 2 or in assists. I think that if LeBron does that, then I would feel confident in saying LeBron is the GOAT. As I love me some, but I think that would be too much that LeBron would have put out for me to not say and give him the props of being the GOAT. If he has all he has to do is tie Jordan in the amount of rings, but he will have been, by the time he get done playing, the all-time leader in scoring, coming from someone who's not necessarily natural, but he's an all-around player, right? Mm-hmm. But coming from the fact that he would also be top 5 all-time in assists, I would say that he is the GOAT basketball player, bro. That tells me that.
Well, so that's the thing. I think that I can't look at LeBron different from Jordan because of the fact that LeBron, this is 2020, and the technology to protect yourself and the way that you can protect your body is a whole lot different, and the game is called different. So I look at it's hard to try to compare two people from different eras because the game isn't played the same. So I'm looking at everything that Jordan done in the era that he played in is what allows LeBron to do what he's doing today. So for me, it doesn't matter what LeBron does, and it's no hate on LeBron. I love LeBron, but he will never surpass Jordan to me. I don't care what he does. He can end up with 10 rings. It's not going to change for me. So and again, that's no hate on LeBron, because even me not even having Kobe in the conversation is only because of the fact like Kobe basically is a copycat of Michael Jordan, and you know he still had to go out there and do it. But at the same token, I still feel like that it's just only natural that LeBron would be number 2 and Michael Jordan would be number 1, and there's nothing that he's gonna do that's gonna change.
I just think that, to me, bro, and I got an echo over here. Hold on.
That's because your phone mic is still on.
Yeah, I just think that for me, when it comes down to it, man, I just think that's too much, though, right? That's too much for me to not say that he's the GOAT. If he scores, he's already scored more points than Jordan, right? And he's done so by, I know the game's played differently, but LeBron's game's different. So having him already scored more points than Jordan while not being necessarily the most score first player, I think, to me, him being the all-time leader, him tying Jordan with 6 rings, and then basically saying, okay, well, on top of him having 6 rings, the same number as Jordan, and he would have likely, unless AD did it differently or whatever, I think that if he had, he probably won't be Finals MVP, but he would have had 1 rings up until 39-40. So on top of that, I'm just sitting here saying leading scorer, 6 rings. To some people, I understand that he would never be greater than Jordan, right? But I just think that, to me, the greatness and the statistics, to me, would be too great for me to just keep going with that. What no one could just ever be better than greater than. No, I would say he is the GOAT if he does that.
Listen, bro, after what I just saw on The Last Dance, it's not gonna happen,
bro. What you mean being crowned the GOAT?
Mm-hmm.
See, I don't. To be honest with you, though, bro, I think that, to me, it reminded someone who hadn't seen Jordan play in a while, but then at the same time, it showed these new kids how relentless it was. I think at the same time, though, bro, while I think that it strengthened Jordan's case, it also boosted LeBron's, though, bro. It's wild because, this is the thing I think about it. Because when they talk about The Last Dance picks up on that 98 season. It also kind of highlights, Jordan's first 3 years, the run. It touches some bases. But the thing that I'm reminded by that story is that LeBron wasn't afforded those same things. Like, LeBron came in from the jump and was expected to be the LeBron that we see, and he's gotten better. And so, to me, I think that while I think the GOAT does talk up more, it shores it up more the case for somebody who already thought so about Jordan. I mean, I think if anything, to me, it just made me respect what LeBron's done that much more. The fact that even when people say, well, he's lost a lot of finals, the only one that I would say was the one that just is that you just say, nah, I can't excuse that, was the Mavs championship. And even still, people still forget that Mavs team with Dirk and them swept Kobe and them out there, swept them boys though, man. So when I'm looking at that, I'm thinking, like, let's really put this in context. I've always thought that Jordan was the GOAT because I just thought that there's a lot of players from that 90s NBA that I think that didn't have rings solely because of Jordan. But when I think about that though, bro, and I sit there and think, well, technically speaking, you was getting whipped and you put up some good numbers against, the Celtics. You know what I'm saying? But Magic, the Pistons, all of them were on the downsides of their career when Jordan started whipping up on them. Man, I get that he did what he was supposed to do. I just think that to me, at the end of the day, though, bro, he played in an era and the rules are different, and I understand and everything like that. But I just think at the same time, though, bro, I'm looking here and I'm just sitting here thinking, like, I don't see Jordan them beating in the championships no team that was like that Warriors team. The 73 win team, the Bulls didn't play nobody like that. Like the Bulls didn't play. The Bulls didn't play in the championship. Now I get that Hakeem them was there and everything, but that Rockets team that won when he was gone, Jordan them didn't play that Rockets team.
Charles,
come on, man.
Did LeBron play against the Detroit team that had the Jordan rule?
That wouldn't have. So you say you can't compare the rules.
Okay, so that's exactly what you're doing. You're saying
no.
Yes, you are. You just said that Jordan did not play anybody like the 73-9 Warriors team. That's comparing.
No. That what I'm doing. No, I'm gonna tell you the difference. What I'm saying is that's to me saying, given the rules, right? When I say that team, I'm saying to me, you can say Draymond Green might be a Hall of Fame player. You can definitely say that Steph and Clay are Hall of Fame players. 3 Hall of Fame players. Andre Iguodala was an perennial all-star in his own right. And I only say that to say that, yeah, the rules were different. The teams were different. But this is the Warriors team that LeBron beat was probably a top 5 team of all time. I don't think that Pistons team was an all-time team. It's just that Jordan played them as a younger Jordan. All I'm saying, though, is this. I'm just saying that there are some teams like that when Jordan faced them. I just think, to me, that I understand the rules were different. I just think that the teams that LeBron lost to, there were some teams in the finals, right? I think that there are some teams that Jordan lost to in the playoffs, and not just the finals. He never lost the finals, but I'm talking about in the playoffs. Those L's that Jordan was catching to the Bucks, you can't just sweep that. So when I look at that, I think that, bro, like if LeBron ties Jordan with 6 rings, but he also is the leading scorer, he's already got more points than the 6. Like, come on, bro, I can't. Nah, man, I got to give that man and say, yes, Jordan may have been the most fiercer competitor I've seen. But I can't, the numbers to me, the paper says LeBron is better than Jordan if he does that.
I still don't agree. And like I said, it's not going to change for me.
I get it, man. I just, let me ask you, we talked about that boy, Paul George, because I laughed, right? Because I saw somewhere where they were talking about some of the former players who were on Jermichael Green, some of these other guys who are no longer on the Clippers roster. We're talking about some of the little internal turmoil that they had, right?
Yeah.
And so it's funny because I laughed because one of the things that they said was was that the boy Paul George was coming there. And, they were saying that part of the issues that they had with chemistry was that they said there was this rumor that, that the boy Kawhi lived in San Diego. He didn't live in LA, right? So they allowed, because of him going there, they allowed the boy Kawhi. Sometimes they say he'd be late for practices, late for games. And there were some times they said because of his load management that he would pick the games, pick the practices that he wanted to play. And so I'm thinking that somebody like I think Jermichael Green, if I'm not mistaken, and even Trez, them boys was there for a few years before they got there. And they were part of establishing that culture that really was pushing even though they lost, that was really pushing those Warrior teams for those few years and everything like that. And I'm thinking, like, I guess I would feel some kind of way, though, bro, that you got these new dudes coming over here and they trying to act all Hollywood when we've kind of built ourselves as a blue-collar kind of team, scrappy team, and now you got these new boys coming over here acting like divas, though, man. I would feel some kind of way about that.
They should be mad at the Clippers organization. They shouldn't be mad at the players, because that was what listen, if a player negotiates something in his contract, then that is the owner or whoever's general manager or whatever, that's on them because they agreed to it. So they could be mad all they want. Just like I'm sure they mad too that they probably making 2.5 million and somebody's making 45 million. You know what I'm saying? So bro, you a superstar, you get them privileges, and I get it.
I get it, man. I think what I thought was interesting is that some of the players were looking at PG like, dude, what exactly have you done in the playoffs to warrant you to feel like you are the equal to Kawhi?
But that's they addressing the wrong person, because if the organization brought them in under those stipulations, that's the organization's issue. The other thing is this: they're only complaining because they lost. If they would have won, they wouldn't have said nothing. Like, oh, Kawhi can take off as many games as he wants. We know that he knows how to get us to the promised land. If they would have won, you wouldn't have heard nothing.
I can see that. Hey, did you see that LiAngelo Ball signed with the Pistons, bro?
Yeah. I posted on my Facebook, man. You can say what you want about Lavar, man. As a dad, to have 3 sons, all 3 of his sons in the NBA is an unbelievable accomplishment.
Let me ask you this.
What's up?
Wouldn't it be something if LiAngelo Ball becomes the best of them?
Yeah.
I think that he could. I think, to me, he's the one that's been humbled before the others, right? Because Lonzo Ball was humbled when he got to the league and saw that he couldn't do what he did in high school and that year in college that easy, like with these NFL boys. And they was on him, right? Even going toward the last couple of games in college and everything like that, when them boys, De'Aaron Fox, and was out there giving them that work. But I think that what's been kind of interesting, right, is that LiAngelo Ball isn't a first-round draft pick. He had to get his out the mud. And so here it is. He signed this non-guaranteed contract. He might not make it. Who knows? He might be in the G League. But I just think that he has different motivators than what the other two, who, not to say that they are just completely privileged, right? But I think that they weren't afforded the necessity to be humble, because to get there, right, that ticket, they were top 2, top 3 picks, though, man. So I think that would be interesting if LiAngelo Ball turned out to be the best of the 3.
No, I get that, and I think it would be dope. I absolutely think it would be dope. So it's one of those things that he did have to kind of, come up from the mud or whatever like that to get where he's at, and he's gonna appreciate any time he gets in that game. He's gonna appreciate it the most. So yeah, I'm right there with you.
Yeah. So I did think that was that is one of the things that I'm watching for, because he's a little bit more muscular than the other ones, though, man. So I'm just kind of curious to see how he actually plays. From what I've gathered, he got like the most hops out of them boys. I think that they said something about that he's sitting on that 40. So I think that it'll be interesting, though, man.
Let me see if I can call this boy Deuce and see what he think. I'm concerned about what you had to say
about Jordan and LeBron.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be disappointed, Deuce, depending on what you say here.
Deuce Kennedy. What's going on? This is Ace Kennedy calling from the Slash Brothers podcast, and I had a question for you. Are you asleep?
A little bit.
Oh, we'll call you back, sir. We can.
Oh my gosh!
All right.
Ace Kennedy,
what's up?
Let me switch topics right quick. We can talk about that when Deuce ain't sleep. I always talk about stuff, bro, that we always talk about music-wise, right?
Right.
That I think that I feel like it's weird though, bro, because musically I don't feel like I'm musically old, right? I mentioned last week that it's tough for me to get with myself rapping in melodies, right? Like I can write in melodies for R&B. I can write the style, I guess, for that people rapping and where they're singing, and I would do that for someone R&B, but I would never do it myself. But I've always felt like that I did have some level of disconnect from a lot of the stuff that I think a lot of, I've always thought that it's just dope to, when you're rapping, to just say this is a skill, what I'm telling you, this storyline, these metaphors. But I've always felt like I had some level of disconnect with these newer rappers. Then I saw something earlier this week that I said, this is another thing. This just maybe I am getting rapper old. I saw the rapper Trouble, who, for the record, I've never heard a Trouble song. I've never known him. Actually, I know the name. I'll take that back. I do know the name. Never heard any of his music. I couldn't tell you what this young man sounds like, nothing. Ace Kennedy, this man says in an interview that he would let Drake smash his wife for a feature. Ace Kennedy, where they do that at?
Definitely ain't in Texas.
Listen, Ace Kennedy, make this make sense to me, bro.
Bro, and okay, so you want me to make it make sense. So unless his wife was previously a stripper that did things for money.
Strippers don't do stuff for money, by the way.
They don't. I'm talking about if there are some strippers who do extras, like they go and do happy ending type stuff. If that's what they do. So unless something like that happened in the past, or he was a pimp of some sort, and then he married his employee, I don't know where in the world that he would think it would be okay to even say that. Like, what would his wife, like, I'm wondering what his wife even said. Like, what if she was just like, oh yeah, I would let Drake smash. Whole different conversation.
Ace Kennedy. So you mean to tell me Drake says, hey, bro, I got you on a hook, a feature or whatever. And you say, okay, well, what a miss is at? Where's she at, right? Bring her on out. I then go, if I'm Drake, right? I done heard throw baby, I don't give it to you. Let a young G come play in your throat. I do all the stuff I want to with your wife. Send her back home to you, right? Y'all go and fix grits and eggs in the morning like nothing ever happened. You can go and kiss all in the mouth. You can go and lay up with her, do all the other stuff. After this man that just ran through the misses like that.
Hey man, that sounds like the sequel to Indecent Exposure Proposal.
Ace Kennedy, I got a question for you. Who are these strippers who be doing these additional favors here? I don't know.
I don't know either, bro. I don't be in no strip clubs.
But you said that there are some that be doing them. Where do you know them at?
I don't know them personally, so I don't know. I'm just saying that is something that has happened. I'm sure of it.
Ace Kennedy, I feel like these are the kind of things that just makes me disconnected from the new rappers. And here's the thing about it. What I think that's interesting to me, man, is that how little you gotta really view your wife. If a verse, right? A verse is, I understand that a verse is forever, right? You do the verse, you put the song out, it's on the internet, it lives forever. So is that forever?
No,
right?
see, that's the thing though, right? It goes back to the conversation we had when we was talking about the whole having a J verse or having a verse from Andre 3000. These new people look up to Drake like we look up to Jay-Z. So the thing is to get a Drake, because Drake kind of fell back on doing features with everybody. He's kind of like really, really sectioned off who he does features with. So it's one of those things like now people are doing whatever they can to try to get a verse, because anything Drake gets on it's out of here. So I'm guessing he's saying like, listen, the money I can make back off of that one single, I can take care of my wife. I don't know. I can't. I'm not even. You said try to make it make sense. That's the only thing I can think of.
You will smut out your wife for a verse. Listen, man. Ace Kennedy, I'm gonna tell you this though, bro. All I know is that if how little do you got to think? If you just said, "Hey, Sarah, I've been trying to hit up the boy Drake. He said, yeah, man, he'll go ahead and jump on the song with me. The deal is, though, man, you got to give up them cakes, though, bro."
Would never be a conversation.
What does Sarah say to you, bro?
Ignore me. She would completely ignore me.
Dog, I don't get it, man. I do not get it, though, man. Speaking of relationships, let me ask you this. This is something that I've been seeing this thing spread rampantly on the internet, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. It has been everywhere, Ace. I was dying to ask you this. I see this post, this guy. He looks like he is I think he's a dating consultant. He has like a podcast, right? Mm-hmm. He has this girl calls on up and he is giving her dating advice. Now, this is the thing I think that's interesting, because I don't think that I don't think that women are always prepared to hear things from a man, especially when it comes to giving them relationship advice from a man's perspective and telling them this is what a man would be thinking in this scenario about you, about holistically. I think that women, and I don't just assume to know all things about women. I'm inclined to believe that I think that women would be more. I don't think that women are always prepared for men to be as brutally honest. And I think that men hold out on being brutally honest because they care about a woman's response, right? So I may filter down.
I think that's where we get the 80-20 rule from.
Yes. I may give you, the 80-20 rule, they talk about on best man, that the 80-20 rule, not Best Man, but the Tyler Perry movie, is you giving up 80 to 20 or whatever. No, when we say 80-20 rule, is that I'm going to tell you the truth and I won't lie to you, right? But it won't be 100% the way that I was thinking it in my head, or maybe even 100% of how I would say this to my partner, right? But I'm going to tell you about 80%, so that you know how I feel about it. And I'm going to be honest, but it won't be brutal because I care about your feelings enough to not bust it open like that, right?
Yeah.
So I think that it was interesting though, man, because this guy is talking to this young lady. This young lady is a single female. She has a 13-year-old kid, and she makes, she probably makes it. I think she makes like about 100,000, right? She works at, I think he says something about a dog grooming, and she basically tells this man that she wants to date a guy who's a six-figure guy. Yeah. He properly asked her, let me ask you this. How would you rate yourself? This woman says, well, when I get on out of the bed and I put makeup on, when I get myself together, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm about a 5. He says, so you're basically telling me that you're average at best, and you want someone, a man, who is 10% of the men, the 10%, the best of the best, right? You as an, and he's saying this off of looks. He tells her, I'm gonna be honest with you. Don't no man in the 10% want you because you're average looking at best and you got a kid on over here. They might as well just go on ahead and get with someone younger for that 5, average at best. Oh, excuse me. Thank you. I think that she's 41. I can understand she wants to be with somebody who's established. Ace Kennedy. Have you seen this video, bro?
I've seen a little bit of it. I didn't get a chance to watch the whole thing. So,
She's
but I
a
did.
6. Excuse me. Thank you, Chris Top. She's a 6 done up. 6. This man says if she's a 6 and he's making that kind of money, right? It's because she was a 6 before he was making that kind of money. They came up together.
He also said that. He also said that you know, a lot of women don't like to hear what he was saying, and he was like, "I'm not trying to be mean about it. I'm just telling you what it is." He's like, "You don't even know anybody in that category." He said, "Outside of a family member, you don't even know nobody that makes 6 figures. So where do you think you're just gonna find one at?" And he was like, and that's the thing. Like when I'm trying to tell you what it is, and you want to say, but no, but I'm different, or oh, I'm special. It's like, nah, you're not trying to hear what I'm saying, and I'm not trying to be mean about it. But
was he wrong?
Listen, if she called in to ask the question, then no, he wasn't wrong, because you didn't have to call and ask him. And if you know that podcast or knows the type of content that it's just like somebody trying to ask Charlemagne the God to something, knowing that he's going to be brutally honest. Like, you know what you're getting yourself into, and if you don't, I mean, you know, sorry.
Listen, man, I've heard people say that this dude was being nasty, and I think that the big thing, he was being nasty about it, and I didn't see it that way. I think that, oh, Kristaps, you took the words out of my mouth. I think that what typically happens, bro, and I can't speak for all men to all women, but I think that the thing that's just interesting is that this is the case when this guy, in his professional opinion, as someone who he's a dating consultant, so his job is to be as brutally honest. And I don't think that he was trying to be mean, but he has to be brutally honest because he can't, as a consultant, afford to be the 80-20. So he was being 100 with her. He says, listen, I'm looking at your resume, and your resume doesn't say 100,000 there, a guy who makes at least 6 figures. And this man says, listen, what's wrong? What's wrong with the average guy? If you're the average, if you look average at best, and I'm not sure, maybe her personality, Ace Kennedy, hits it out the park. She may have the most dazzling personality you would ever see in your life. But he's saying, just off of looks and the fact that you're a single mom of a 13-year-old boy, and if you're telling me that when you done up, you a 6, he said, why don't you get with a guy who is, when he's done up, he's a 6? Don't that makes y'all a little bit more equal? Like, I'd imagine you would think that you would at some point marry up, right? No, don't you? I would marry up if that was in that situation, right? So I thought that it was one of the most rawest and realest consultations or exchanges that I've seen a guy have with a female in quite some time, though, man. it's almost like one of those things that where I think that some people aren't always self-aware. And I think that they may not be self-aware because she may very well be so comfortable in her own skin that I think that it's to me, while he did get a little, because he was trying to tell her and she wasn't really, I think that to him, he's like, all right, now you're forcing me to completely take the gloves off, bro.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my gosh, man. Raw, super duper raw. Chris Top, we gotta have you on to talk about this. No, Ross.
All he had to do was call in. I told him to call in.
Oh man, though, man. This was I would have loved, because like I said, I think that a lot of times, man, I think that men typically, if you care about the person you're talking to, especially if you're in a relationship with them, you will be honest with them. You won't lie, but it's not going to come out the same way you would tell one of the homies, though, bro. It's just not.
No.
You scale a bit. Filter that thing about 80%. Don't mean you lying. You lying, you telling the truth. But the truth just sounds different, bro.
That's just the compassion I think the dudes have, knowing that if we are brutally honest, because women, I mean, you think about even in your relationship, right? There are just certain things you cannot tell your significant other the way that you want to tell them.
True.
I just think that it's safer that way.
I think for the sake of your relationship that you might not always, though, man. So, oh my gosh, man, it was just so. We gotta bring. I think that one of these times we gotta put. I posted the video. I think I posted it on the Slash Brothers page. So if you don't follow the Slash Brothers podcast Facebook page, be sure to do that. But I posted it there because Ace Kennedy. I applaud him for his honesty as someone who says that I'm a professional at this. I think I can understand why she would stand pat on, if that's her conviction. If she said, no, I make my 90,000, I deserve to be with somebody who, but then if she also says, I'm willing to hold out for as long as possible, if that's a requirement, you like what you like, so if that's what it is, though, man. But golly, man, it's about a 7, if you haven't seen it, it's about a 7-minute exchange, and this guy's trying to be honest with it. So interesting.
I think for her, she would, if she's wanting somebody around her age, it's going to be difficult. But if she goes to somebody who's like 60, that might be a little bit different.
Whew. We were talking about this. Let me switch topics right quick, because we were talking about this on the Tuesday episode. The Dave Chappelle, I finally started watching it. I'm still not all the way. I'm halfway through it, though. Interesting monologue, bro. One of his, he always has very good ones. This was interesting, bro.
Yeah.
Let me get your thoughts on it.
Well, for those of you who haven't seen it, we told you we were going to talk about it on this episode. He basically explained the story on how he wanted to tell everybody why to boycott the Dave Chappelle show. He gave an explanation on some lessons that he learned growing up that kind of stuck with him for quite some time. And then he turned around and equated it to what's happened to him with the situation with the Dave Chappelle show. Now, Dave Chappelle himself is not dumb by any means, meaning that he knows that he signed a contract, which in that contract gave them the rights to put the Chappelle show wherever they wanted to put it. And so just because something is legal doesn't make it right. And so I think that with that, it was one of those things that he told them, like, listen, just because it's legal, it doesn't make it right. So now that he has the power to kind of say and do whatever he wants. And part of that is that he had a because the show was on Netflix, and he found out that about 30 minutes or so before he did his monologue on Saturday Night Live, right after after we found out Biden had won, he basically said, "Hey, I just found this out about 30 minutes ago that they are streaming the Chappelle show on HBO Max and on Netflix." Well, he contacted Netflix and told them, like, "Hey, this makes me upset." And so Netflix did the right thing and took it down. And he said, "This is why I like working for Netflix." But the short version of the story is that he pitched the Chappelle show to HBO, and HBO said, "What do we need you for?" So when HBO has it on HBO Max, he called them and said, "What do you need me for?" Like, and so he's challenging these executives. He's challenging all of these people that are shareholders or in charge to do what's right. And so, yeah, that was his plea. But he did it in his Dave Chappelle way, and it was amazing.
I thought that was good. So the part so I haven't gotten all the way. This was weird. I saw the ending of it, and I've seen. So I haven't seen so I've seen about halfway through it. So I gotta watch the next 3/4 of it, and then I've seen the end, the connected all the way. But I thought that it was just interesting that he told a story about how he gave this joke to somebody, that he let somebody use the joke. And basically the guy was like, "I give you $50 for the joke." And he's like, "Nah, I need to build my jokes up." And the dude was like, had to raise up on him when he was 15. And he was like, "Well, technically I can take it." You know what I'm saying? Like, and he was just like, "Yo," I thought that was interesting though, man, especially seeing that happened when he was so young though, bro. So, and then the fact that, fast forward, that something like that could still happen and here it is, he's, 40 something years old. Dope correlation though, man. And like I said, the one thing I think that he does to me better than, and maybe it's just his, not just his time, but right now anyway, I think the thing that he does better more than anybody else is storytelling. Like I thought that Kevin Hart told stories well for a period. And Dave Chappelle does it very well now. Now, Kevin Hart, I saw the last, you and I talked about the last Kevin Hart show that's on Netflix. And I got to be honest, it was terrible, bro. Terrible. And this is the thing. There are normal jokes, but it's like, it's not just telling jokes, it's telling a story that's also a joke. And it was brutally terrible, bro. I was so, and so this is the bad part about it though, Ace, is I saw the Dave Chappelle thing. I started watching it today, the monologue, and this is after I saw the Kevin Hart. So I'm thinking like, Jesus, he's killing Kevin Hart's whole thing. And he's not trying to be funny. It's just better storytelling though, bro. And I don't know what the boy Kevin Hart's over there doing, bro, or not doing. But I just, watching the Dave Chappelle, for me, I compare everything. It's in me to compare things for competitive reasons. I compare everything. I compare things and put things on lists. That's what I do. But I immediately compare those two because I just remembered when Kevin Hart's storytelling was A+. And then the last time I saw him, it was just trash. And now I've seen Dave Chappelle hit it. Back to back. Levels, bro, levels.
The difference is that Kevin has sponsors and people that he's responsible to, and Dave doesn't. And I think because of that, Dave is able to say certain things that you can't necessarily say if you're a Kevin Hart. I'm not excusing him. I don't think this special was as funny as his previous specials, but at the same token, that's still my boy. I still rock with Kevin.
I like Kevin Hart, man. I think I like everything about. I remember me and Neek went to see Kevin Hart at I think it was Uptown Comedy Club out here. And this was right before Soul Plane, And there were other comedians that were there, and he was clearly the funniest person there. I mean, we were literally dying laughing at him. And I was like, yo, this dude, and I saw what he could be at that particular time. And then Soul Plane came on after that. And while Soul Plane, didn't necessarily do well, it did open the door for him it got his face out there because, now even though the movie got bootlegged, still people knew his face now and everything like that. So, but like I love the whole Kevin Hart story though, bro. But that storytelling on this last one was just ass, bro. But the Dave Chappelle one.
That's because Kevin Hart really capitalizes off of tragedy. And so there was nothing in this special that was anything that was really tragic. So there was nothing so he turns his pain into laughter. And so, in Seriously Funny, he was going through stuff with his wife. The next one, he actually divorced his wife. The next one, his mom died. The next one, his dad. Like, there was always stories of tragedy. And so in this particular special, it wasn't really anything tragic. Like, he was, really stunting on people about like, hey, I'm successful. And in my success, these are the things that successful people problems that we have. And so some of it was stuff that you couldn't relate to.
That's what I think it was. I think that I knew what he was trying to do.
Yes,
it was so unrelatable.
It didn't come off as, again, those are the problems that he is having right now because of the fact he went through a scandal, and that scandal he turned into a great special. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing that's really going on right now. And then the thing is too, Kevin also released a documentary series on Netflix too, which also had a bunch of the controversial stuff in it. So, like I said, he has a lot of content out, and I just think that this special was a little underwhelming, but he still said I still rock with the boy Kevin.
Yeah, I do too, man. I do too. I hope that he bounced back from it. I hope that he hears this kind of feedback about it, though. So that is my big thing. I mean, it's very easy with him being in, that kind of. I think that it's very easy. The same way he was having basically rich people problems, I think that it's very easy for him to get caught up and only hear how great he was. And maybe we're the exception, the people who who don't think that of him. But I don't know, bro. We'll see. I'm hopeful because to like you, I'm a big fan. But golly, Dave Chappelle has just been on a roll here lately, though. And so this recent monologue, I'm interested to see the whole of this monologue, this series, basically, because I just keep catching clips. And while I'm catching these little clips,
it's only the 18-minute thing that he's got out, and it's possibly tied to a special that's coming out. So
right, so that's what I'm saying. I would love to see the whole special and where
it'll be on Netflix soon.
Yeah.
He signed to Netflix right now, so he's good.
Yeah. Ace Kennedy, man, what you got going on for the weekend, bro?
Man, I have a writing session tomorrow morning, and then I have tonight. I'm supposed to be going to finish working on the video so we can get it done tonight. So yeah, just a bunch of Ace Kennedy stuff, and then church, and yeah, that's about it, my brother.
Man, so I got so it's the boy birthday coming on up here this weekend. Birthday's on Sunday, bro. So I've been doing trying to find some birthday shenanigans to get in on too, though, man. So I think I'm gonna continue that though, man, this weekend. I think I'm just gonna be kind of doing some of that. I think that the thing that's always funny is that I take off on my birthday. I've taken off on my birthday, man, for as long as I've been working, right? I've never worked on my birthday. But because my birthday is so close to Christmas, and Christmas, it's 3 weeks away, basically. I'm always thinking about everybody else. So usually on my birthdays, I am typically trying to, gift shop for other people on my birthday or my birthday weekend. So so I'm probably going to be doing some of that. Plus my in-laws, their anniversary is coming on up. Their anniversary is like 2 days after my birthday. So I'll be shopping for them. And I think that, like I said, trying to do some little, whatever you can do for some birthday shenanigans during this little COVID environment, man. That's what I'm going to be trying to do.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because, my 40th was also during this time, and same with Chris Top. And, but it is what it is. So we just got to make do. But yeah, man, it's going to be great to celebrate.
Last days in these 30s, I'm leaving these 30s, man, leaving them behind. Listen, but I'm excited to just be, I'm gonna do my my post like your boy, what's your coach out there at OSU? Mike Gundy. Talk to me. I'm a man. I'm 40. Hey, Skinner, let's get that music. Let's get on home, man.
So go ahead, take your guard down, cause I'ma hold you down in every way.
Go get flagged.
I'm here for your heart now, and I'll be here every day.
I get what you deserve, yeah.
Sometimes I get on your nerves, yeah. I'm not so good with my words, yeah. But I won't always get my word,
yeah. I love you.
In your hand, I'm not perfect, but I'll give you all I am.